I am Gill. Today we are going to talk about live and let live, because live and let live brings peace. Because peace brings disease-free body and longevity. Peace also brings prosperity and happiness. Sages for centuries had been pointing out recipes for peace in the Hindu and Christian thoughts. The Almighty is peace. Buddha is among the early sages who urges people to follow, live, and let live. 500 to 600 years after Buddha, Christ showed the path to live and let live. It is obvious from their teachings, as well as from common sense, that every being has the desire to live. The desire to live is usually the strongest desire. Therefore, this desire needs to be honored. This recipe of live and let live was not that much in need during the days of Buddha and also during the days of Christ as it is in the world of today. It is because countries are moving towards multiculturalism that make the process of peace more difficult and more complex. Multiculturalism is a trend that cannot be stopped. To enjoy peace and prosperity, it is indispensable to be aware of how to live in multicultural societies. I have attempted to illustrate the beauty of live and let live in multicultural settings in my novels as well as in my poetry. It is important to follow the full footprint of live and let live in multicultural society, because the world has become multicultural town. Multiculturalism is diversity, and diversity is beauty. Diversity is a collection of flowers of different shapes and different colors in a bouquet that looks more attractive than a single flower does. Multiculturalism is also the choir that is the combination of low and high sounds. Multiculturalism is the beauty of the rainbow. The world of today is full of diversity, and diversity is a gift from the Almighty to practice, live, and let live. Diversity makes life bearable. Diversity makes life beautiful. Diversity makes life interesting. Diversity gives the message of cooperation, and cooperation is the base of religions. Because of this message, religion is supposed to improve human relations, but God's gift of diversity is being ignored openly and is also misused. Now, religion has become hammers of intolerance, and this hammer shatters the delicate glass of peace into pieces. Terrorism and religion have become synonyms in some nations. To celebrate peace in multicultural societies, it is important to celebrate the concept of mutualism and the concept of symbiotic relationship, and these are based on the concept of live and let live. To avoid competition, which is usually wasteful, it is expedient for species to form a stable relationship with other species. This sort of relationship allows both the species to live harmoniously, sharing the same amount of food and space that is available. Mutualism helps species to benefit from other species. There are several examples of such species in nature. Mutualism between plants and fungi, called fungi or fungi, are common. Live and let live cannot work without symbiosis, that means without deliberate attempts for cooperation. In industrial companies, cooperation generates better results. One nation may use one another's industrial byproducts on business principles. Industrial symbiosis increases production without resulting in the waste of energy and raw materials. There are many examples of this symbiosis in animal, plant, and ocean kingdoms also. During my research for my novel The Coexistence and another novel The Chhattisgarh, I found that it is a myth to say that humans are violent by nature. The media has misinterpreted the laboratory work of scientists by supporting the myth of survival of the fittest. What Charles Darwin said about evolution is a theory. It is not a fact. Success in any field is due to cooperation, is due to cleverness, not necessarily due to aggression. For example, Complex cells in human body evolve from cooperating simple cells. When cooperation fails, disaster happens. When the cells in human body act like rogues, the result is cancer. Peace depends on cooperation, and cooperation is calmness. Cooperation is stability. Cooperation is to understand the fact that a singular unit can never be complete and self-sufficient because every unit depends on other units for survival. To be powerful, to be strong, it is important for all 5 fingers of a hand to work together in unity. The same applies to human body that is composed of several organs. In order to be healthy, in order to be strong, all the organs of the body should work because they all depend on one another. Birds that are heavier than their own feathers need those feathers to be able to fly. They cannot fly with one feather. Even the feathers without a body are powerless because it is the body that supplies energy to feathers. Obviously, both the body and feathers need each other. Peace of every individual is the result of mutual cooperation. Without cooperation from the air, without cooperation from sun, without cooperation from earth and others, no individual can live. Every individual needs other individuals. In case of sickness, a patient needs the expertise of the medical staff and hospital. Even the medical staff accumulates their knowledge with the help of those who receive their knowledge from others. It is a non-ending cycle. It's a fact. Every unit is interdependent, and recognition of interdependence is the way to the nirvana of peace. Cooperation opens the door for a meaningful dialogue. It opens the gate to a garden of flowers of different shades, a garden of flowers of different colors, and they all add to the beauty of sight. They extend freedom to every flower to bloom. Cooperation is evident also in nature. I will talk in a separate session. In the wilderness, not every animal is for itself. Watch the bees and ant colonies, which are the result of cooperation. Polar bears do not have this developed intellect, and to imitate them and become cannibals because of the polar bear cannot be justified with any argument. Killing of one's own brothers and sisters, my friend, cannot be justified because several bird species do so. It does not make sense to say it is okay to kill your children because mice sometimes eat their young ones. Humans certainly cannot copy nature for everything. Let us not forget that humans are the supreme species endowed with intellect. What happens in nature does not mean that the most intellectual creation should follow with myopic sight. I am convinced that nature depicts cooperation as the main ingredient for success, and this subject I will deal in a separate, complete session. But this is what all cultural ethnic groups should do to make life meaningful. No organism is an island to itself. The web of success as a network of interdependent efforts of cooperation is abundant in nature to convince those who notice only survival of the fittest. My friend, the coaches of football and hockey team know the worth of cooperation, know the worth of working in a team spirit. It is to be kept in mind that the word fittest does not mean the strongest and the most aggressive. Survival of the fittest can also mean the most cooperative. It is often assumed in the circles of science and culture that Darwin thought that humans are competitive. It is assumed that Darwin thought that humans are violent, that humans are self-interested. This is a misrepresentation of Charles Darwin, who believed also in goodness. In his book, Descent of Man, he also argued about human tendencies in favor of sympathy. In his next book about animals, there are references to love and tenderness as part of the evolution. However, survival of the fittest theory can be challenged from the point of intellect and cooperation. My friend, there is nothing in the brain that would indicate that humans have inherited violence from animals. There is nothing that is genetically programmed about violence. It is wrong to assume that humans possess a brain that has violent drive. There is nothing like that in the neurophysiology of humans. The myth that human is violent, the myth that human is like animals, that has been propagated widely. War is not caused by any instinct. I'm going to talk about this later somewhere. War is caused by either fear or it is caused by greed. Those who believe that violence is entrenched in human brains, those who believe that violence is entrenched in human brains become hopeless, thinking that nothing can be done to make the global village peaceful. War begins in the mind, and peace also begins in the mind. The same humans who have invented war and its horrors are capable of inventing peace. To prove that humans are warlike because they have been fighting since their appearance on earth does not stand in the court of logic. If there have been bloodshed, there have been also peaceful practices of the use of languages, of the use of pottery, of the use of cloth making, and so on. These are also instinctive. Killing is instinctive. History has proved over and over again that killing has never been able to solve problems. War preparations lead to counter-war preparations. Killing may silence a few souls for a while out of fear, but killing also raises a crop of hatred. Killing also raises a crop of poison. Killing also raises a crop of revenge for more bloodshed. We are living in an age of the most sophisticated engines of death, which are within easy reach of everyone. Under these circumstances, the adoption of violent means is the blueprint of the chamber of suffocation. Humans have to end war, or war will end humans. The world has entered into an era of quick communication and also quick annihilation. Science has made it possible for humans to get into a closer dialogue. Democracy is a government by dialogue, and democracies usually do not have armed conflicts. My definition of peace is the absence of the use of force to solve conflicts. Peace is not the abolition of conflicts. Peace is the abolition of the use of violence. And the best blueprint to achieve peace is to follow the blueprint of live and let live. The money that is wasted, my friends, on the tools of unimaginable butchery should be used to eliminate some diseases. That money should be used to provide better health facilities. That money should be used to provide better education. Taxpayers' money must not be used to invent any technology to kill people. Thank you for listening.